Kinsler will lead it off for the Texas Rangers. First pitch of opening day in Detroit is down low. 1 ball to no strikes.
Well, you got to be careful with Kinsler. He's a guy that's got some pop, hitting in that leadoff spot for Ron Washington.
51 degrees here at game time. The 1-0 pitch, a little bit low, 2 balls to no strikes, which, by the way, was the exact same temperature we had as the first pitch last year. And that was on March 31st. A little bit of a later start here at home this season. 2-0 on Ian Kinsler. Just underway from Comerica Park. The 2-0 pitch. There's Galaraga's first strike.
That's a well-located 2-0 fastball. Anytime a hitter's in a predictable fastball count, most hitters are looking for something on the inner third of the plate. That time, Galaraga threaded the needle on the outside corner at the knees.
Missed a little bit low that time, and the count rolls to 3-1 now. This is a Texas team that can really mash. They put up 29 runs in their 3-game series against the Cleveland Indians in sweeping the Tribe. That ball is hit toward left field, and that ball will go foul right down the line. Kinsler was out in front of it.
Well, really, Texas is picking up right where they left off last year. They finished second to the Los Angeles Angels in the AL West, 21 games behind them in second place, but they scored 901 runs as a team, which led the major leagues.
Here's the full count pitch. Kinsler stays alive and hands out a souvenir. Galaraga getting the opening start. Probably would have pitched a whole lot sooner in the rotation had it not worked out with Rick Porcello in the starting rotation. They certainly didn't want him pitching on opening day here with all the added pressure. There's a bouncing ball to third, deep behind the bag. Inge throws him out, 1 gone. Today's game available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. Well, Galaraga has his first out recorded. And we'll bring up Michael Young now, the Texas third baseman. Young off to a 5-for-12 start. He is an outstanding hitter. And Galaraga gets ahead, 0-1.
And he has a classic inside-out swing, hits a lot of balls right back up the center of the diamond and into right field. That's why Granderson, the center fielder, is shading Young on the second base side of second base.
He went around. Strike 2 on Michael Young.
And there you see Curtis out in center field. Young hits a lot of balls out there. Usually 200 hits a year.
And down he goes. Not this time as Galaraga carves him up. 2 gone.
One thing we know about Galaraga, when he is on, and he has been on most of his harder one that he throws sometimes that he's just trying to get over for a strike.
Now Josh Hamilton, the power hitting center fielder for the Rangers. Hamilton off to a 3-for-11 start. Couple of RBIs. He had a phenomenal spring for Texas. His numbers were very gaudy. 27 RBIs in 27 games. He hit 7 home runs.
He has a lot of ability. A former #1 pick of the Tampa Bay Rays. They were the Devil Rays back in those days.
That's lifted in the air. Shallow left field. Long run for Guillen. Inge with a great play.
Boy, is he athletic.
Brandon Inge runs 1.5 miles out to left field and makes the over-the-shoulder grab. What a play by Brandon. And that has the crowd to its feet. Leland's lineup card looks like this today. It'll be Curtis Granderson in center field. Placido Polanco batting second, playing second base. Maglio is out in right field. Miguel Cabrera is at first base. Cabrera in his series against Toronto, he was lights out. He'll be followed by Carlos Guillen. Jeff Larish gets his first start. He'll be the DH. Then Laird, Inge, and Everett are your bottom three for the Tigers. The Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Chris Benson of the Texas Rangers. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
Well, new place and also a new face for him. He signed with February 21st with the Texas Rangers club, but he hadn't really been in a big league game since 2006. And talking to some of the Rangers before the game, they say they'd like him to expand the strike zone, throws a little bit too many strikes close to the strike zone. That could work to the advantage of the Tigers, who have an aggressive offensive ball club.
And Curtis Granderson leads it off, looks at a strike 0-1. Benson has battled so many injuries and had not played in the big leagues in a long time. But at one time was a very good pitcher. Trying to recapture that as he misses to Granderson, 1-1.
He pitched for Lloyd McClendon, Tigers hitting coach, when Lloyd McClendon was the skipper of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Granderson in that series in Toronto was 5 for 16, and Curtis already off to a good start in terms of the power numbers. He had 2 homers at Rogers Center in that series. Randy pulls this one foul down the right field line. Jim Leland was talking about Granderson before the game. He was asked, this time last year you didn't have Curtis in your starting lineup. He was injured the first month of the year. What does he bring and what is the difference? And obviously the answer was fairly obvious. He is their spark plug. He makes them go. And he's trying to do that right now to get the offense working here in the first inning against Benson. That's pulled on the ground. Diving stop at first by Davis. Benson will cover, and a nifty play. Well, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to Arby's tomorrow. Get a free. Here's Placido Polanco, who got the day off yesterday. And Polanco back in the lineup here this afternoon. He played 3 out of the 4 at Rogers Center. Strike 1 from Benson. Placido 2 for 13 in that series. Here is Benson's 0-1 pitch. Lifted in the air toward left. Marlon Byrd started back, and there are 2 gone.
Let's take a look at the rest of the Rangers defense. You know that Bird's in left. You also have the talented Hamilton in center field, and Nelson Cruz is the right fielder. Young at third base, won a Gold Glove at shortstop last year, but now he finds himself playing the third base position. And you have Benson on the mound and Saltalamacchia behind the plate.
Here's Maglio Ordonez with 2 outs. One thing we do have today here at the ballpark is plenty of wind. We expected it to be breezy today, and we saw that fly ball that Polanco hit was affected just a bit by that wind.
It was real nice and sunny earlier when the Tigers were taking batting practice on the field.
1 ball, 1 strike. Here's an example of the wind here today. And they have the lights on here at the ballpark. Ordonez was 4 for 15 in the series against Toronto. Didn't particularly care for that call from Paul Emmel. He's behind 1-2.
There is nothing better than a pitcher that works quickly and also throws a lot of strikes. In 22 spring training innings this spring, Benson only walked 3.
Wow. And we always talk about the correlation between good defense and pitchers that work at a nice pace. Here's the 2-2. He tipped it foul. Well, Benson is 34 years old. We talked about 6 with the Orioles. Maglio takes low, run it full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. With Cabrera waiting on deck. What a series he had against. Breaking ball is hammered. Wasting little time, hits the first ball on the ground to third. Behind the bag, Young struggles with it, but still has time. And the Rangers, let's bring in John Keating now, who's standing by with a Hall of Famer. Keats.
Yeah, Ernie Harwell grew since we were traveling with him not that long ago. You were a part of the ceremony honoring George Kell before today's game. A quick memory of George Kell, if you would.
It was a great thrill for me. George was a wonderful person to work with, a great third baseman, and a real wonderful citizen. Made everybody feel like he was their close friend, and he was a wonderful friend of mine.
You're not around baseball as much as we'd like you to be around baseball, but what does opening day mean to you?
Opening day means everything. It's just a wonderful community holiday. Everybody's in great spirits, and I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Give us your sense as to the 2009 Tigers and the prospects from what you have seen.
I think it looks pretty good. You know, they got off to a slow start, but I think we'll be all right.
All right, Ernie, thanks. So we wish you could
go together.
You know, Ernie also makes you feel like you're a very close friend of his.
He does. He is a remarkable man, and it's great to have him here at opening day. One away is Hank Blaylock grounded out. Here is Nelson Cruz. Four for 11 for Cruz to start the year. We're talking about the Rangers and how they started against the Cleveland Indians. A fast start offensively. Cruz was part of that. Hit a couple of home runs against Cleveland on Wednesday. That's pulled down the ground and through. It's a base hit out of the reach of Adam Everett. First hit of the game for the Texas Rangers, and here's some of the offensive fireworks that Texas put together.
Well, they didn't treat Cleveland all. .3-0 start since 1996. Under their third-year skipper, Ron Washington.
And he really got them going last year. When they were here early in the season last year, it just it didn't look good for them. I mean, their ball club wasn't playing well. They began the season with a record of 7-16, but Washington, as the season grew, got his team to grow as well. Marlon Byrd, the batter now, with one out.
We'll see if it's much of an advantage for the Tigers in this game this afternoon with Gerald Laird behind the plate. Of course, Laird played for Texas last year, and he knows the strengths and weaknesses of just about every hitter the Rangers will run up there this afternoon against Galaraga.
Well, you would expect that would be somewhat of an advantage, I would think. I mean, Laird could probably sit down with Galaraga and go 1 through 9 and give a pretty good scouting report.
He can give him a great scouting report, but the next step to that is Galaraga hitting the spots and control with his command on the mound.
Cruz a moderate lead at first base. And time is given right at the last second to Marlon Byrd. Galaraga taking a little bit too long.
That's what Galaraga will do. He will do a very nice job of making sure the base runners don't get a good jump off of him by varying his times to home plate. Sometimes he'll just grab it and go, and other times he will just hold on to it.
That's drilled to the gap in left center field. That ball is down. It's a base hit, cut off by Granderson, and he holds the runner at second base, Nelson Cruz, who thought about going to third.
I'm surprised Cruz did not go to third base. One thing about this Texas outfield, they can really hit. With Cruz, you take a look here. I think he slipped or slowed down. He thought maybe Granderson was going to catch that ball, but then once he started to start up again, he thought better of trying to get to third base. And most base runners are standing on third base on that particular hit.
First 2 hits of the game for Texas. And now Chris Davis will stand in. First scoring opportunity for the Rangers today. Strike 1 on Davis, who is off to a slow start, just 1 for 11. Pretty good numbers last year, though, against the Tigers. Davis, quite a minor league ball player in their system. A couple of years ago in 07, had a 35-game hitting streak in the minor leagues. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Rangers last year under Ron Washington finished 79-83, 21 games out, and they were in second place in the West. That's how dominant the Angels were last year. There's a ground ball to second, could be 2. There's 1. Here comes the relay from Everett. There's a double play, and Galaraga gets the 4-6-3 just in the nick of time. standing the test of time since 1849. Your Motor City Dodge dealers. Comcast, better than Dish, especially in bad weather. And by the new roast burger from Arby's, the burger done better. Full house here at the ballpark today. Tigers and Rangers. Game 1 in this 3-game set. Carlos Guillen will lead it off as we go to the bottom of the second. No score in this one. And Carlos looks at a strike from Chris Benson.
It's a good pitch right there by Benson against a good fastball hitter, especially on the first pitch of any count. If you're a pitcher and you can drop a breaking ball in there, most hitters aren't going to swing at it.
Guillen, then Larish and Laird here against Benson in the second. And for Carlos, 3 for 13 to start the season. The 3, 4, and 5 in the Tigers lineup, very impressive with Ordonez, Cabrera, Guillen on most nights. And Lloyd McClendon, again this year, has a lot of veteran talent to work with in this lineup. The 1-1. That's popped up. Back a short. Andrus is there. One gone.
Hey fans, Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week as Justin Morneau and the Twins take on Jim Thome and the White Sox in an early season showdown between AL Central rivals. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by DirecTV tomorrow at 4 p.m. in high definition on your local Fox station.
And our good friends at Fox 2 also carrying the game here today, allowing Tigers fans to be a part of opening day. Here is Jeff Larish. First at bat of the regular season for Larish, who did not play that entire 4-game series.
Toronto Blue Jays had too many left-handers on their staff, and Jim couldn't pick the right spot for Larish to play.
Larish takes a big rip. Of course, he has great power potential, and a left-handed bat with power is always a nice luxury to have on your bench. And a guy that can play some corner infield positions in the outfield as well. And Jim Leland did say before the game today, and he reiterated that more times than not, Marcus Thames will be my DH. But it just so happened that Larish did not play in that Toronto series, and with the right-hander on the hill today, he had to get Larish in today somehow, some way. You really don't want a guy sitting around after getting a lot of at-bats during spring training, and then all of a sudden you sit for a week and don't swing. 3-1. '21 home runs last year, AAA for Larish. There's Laird waiting on deck. Here is Benson's 3-1 pitch. Another big rip there by Jeff Larish. Benson is 34 years old. He was born in Wisconsin. He signed a minor league deal with the Rangers this past February.
He didn't sign with the Rangers until February 21st, which was about a week after spring training even gets underway.
Very late. 3-2 pitch. Little tapper. First base side. Saltalamacchia throws it away. Larish on his way to second base. Here comes the throw. The tag. He's safe.
What a throw by Cruz. Oh my goodness.
It looked like Saltalamacchia thought the pitcher might take that baseball.
I think that's exactly what happened. Now, you have to take charge here if you're the catcher. It's probably an easier play for you. You don't want to wait around for the pitcher. Then he was off balance. He threw the ball down the line. Larish picked it up in a hurry, but once the ball got in Cruz's hands, he threw a clothesline to second base and almost got Larish. Good hustle by Larish.
Single E2 is the ruling on that play, and the Tigers have their first really good scoring opportunity.
I'm sure Gene Lamont will put that in his memory bank, the fact if he didn't already know that Cruz in right field has one of your better throwing arms in all of baseball.
There's Gino down at third base in his familiar spot. Gerald Laird now trying to cash in his teammate here. Laird has a couple of hits so far this season. Strike one.
Now here's the flip side of what we were talking about last half inning, whereas Galaraga can get a pretty good scouting report from Laird because Laird played with Texas last year. The Texas Rangers team also knows his strengths and weaknesses as a hitter.
Well, he spent parts of 6 years wearing a Rangers uniform. Hit .276 last year, and his numbers overall with Texas. Trying to pick up Jeff Larish at second base. No scores. We play in the second. Here's Benson's 1-1. He's ahead in the count now. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And one thing Benson has shown us in the first couple of innings that he will throw his breaking ball at any point in time, and he's also changing speeds on it and locating it very well. You know, I was talking to Ron Washington, the manager of Texas, before the game today, and he was talking about Benson. And he was talking about the fact that his offseason program had him throwing a regular bullpen every single 5 days. And that's one of the reasons once they signed him on February 21st, he was ahead of everybody and basically pitched his way onto the staff. Usually guys that sign on February 21st come to spring training as a non-roster. They're not going to make your team.
Little looper into center field. That's going to drop. Base hit. Larish rounding third. They'll send him home and he'll score. Gerald Laird with an RBI single, and the Tigers take the lead. Second RBI of the year for Laird.
Not all bad to get jammed with 2 strikes. A lot of times you'll be rewarded. He just muscles this ball in the outfield. But take a look at the jump that Larish got off second base. He made it easy for Gene Lamont to send him home. As soon as that ball went up, he didn't have to turn around. He knew exactly where that ball was going to land, and that's one of the reasons why he was able to score. That's why when you're on second base, you want to take a look at the outfielders to see exactly where they were playing. He knew Hamilton in center field had no chance at catching that baseball.
That's a pretty good stretch of base running there for Laird, or for Larish rather, getting to second base on the overthrow and then scoring easily on the base hit.
Well, one of the things the Tigers went into spring training with the mindset of doing is working on their base running. They don't have a fast team, but you don't have to have a fast team to be a good base running team. And Larish displayed some good base running skills that entire sequence, getting to second base and then scoring on the bloop single.
Brandon Inge batting now. Still only 1 out here. Tigers have taken the 1-0 lead. Inge already with 3 home runs. He homered in each of the first 3 in Toronto. Was hitless yesterday.
He's human.
He couldn't last, could it? Here's the 1-1. Well, his next home run will be the 100th of his career. I told you yesterday that he is the all-time home run leader here in this ballpark with 55. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with his longevity, being with the Tigers for as long as he has. This ballpark opened up in 2000. Here's the 1-2. Got him to pop it up. Who wants it? Davis will make the play from first base. 2 outs.
It's a pretty good pitch for Brandon to hit. It's a breaking ball with 2 strikes, and it's hanging. Now, Brandon just pulled off of it. If you're Benson, you got away with one right here. This ball is right down the heart of the plate, about belt buckle high, and Inge just slightly got underneath it.
That'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Adam Everett. Slaps one in the air toward right, but this will go foul. And back in the seats. It's kind of a different look to the bottom 3 of the Tigers lineup this year. We've been used to seeing so much power in the past, especially that 06 season where the Tigers hit a ton of home runs from 7, 8, 9, but different types of hitters now.
They got a different team. And they went from the approach of having all-stars at every position to having some guys at the bottom of the batting order that can do some things for you to help you win a ball game.
See if this one finds the seats, and Saltalamacchia runs out of room.
A guy like Adam Everett, for instance, who already has 1 sacrifice bunt this year, He will do that for Jim on occasion. Jim will not be afraid to put a hit and run on with him as well. And he will pinch hit for Everett, whereas in the past, Jim had very few options in his batting order to pinch hit for anybody.
Well, there's maybe a little bit more versatility in the Tigers lineup this year. We saw Josh Anderson come over from Atlanta and playing a couple of those games in Toronto and see what he can do. Made a nice play in the outfield, can run a little bit.
Run a lot of bit.
Yeah, it's probably a better way to put it.
It's bad English, but he can run a lot of bit.
I'm going to look that up. I want you to prove to me that that is in the dictionary. A lot of bit. 1-2 on Everett. Adam lines one toward left. That's going to hook, though, and go back toward the seats.
He has thrown so many breaking balls that he's starting to hang a few. That was also a hanging breaking ball there to Everett, and Benson knows it. He got away with one there. And make no mistake about it, if he continues to throw as many breaking balls early as he has, Tigers hitters will go up there sitting on a few of them.
And again, the 1-2 in the air. Center field, Death Valley out there, though. Josh Hamilton camping under it. And that is that for the Tigers. They get a run, though, to go ahead. When we come back, John Keating going to talk a little hockey. The head coach of the Red Wings. Stay with us. And he's going to get us primed for a little Stanley Cup playoff action, Keats.
Yeah, I can tell you, Mario, this owner's box thing is kind of nice with the head coach of the defending Stanley Cup champs, Mike Babcock. You and I were just talking about how hard it is to win. You certainly got a taste of that last year and even this year. That translates to baseball as well.
Well, there's no question. To do it year after year after year like the Tigers are trying to do, I think once you set an expectation level for yourself like we have with the Red Wings, every year you got to bring it, and it's hard to be at the top when everyone's chasing you.
You know how tough things have been in this town economically. To see the support that you get and to see all of these people on opening day, I guess it makes you feel pretty good about your decision to come to this town.
No question about it. You know, when I drove up coming to the game here today, and the excitement out front was absolutely fantastic. The excitement around the Final Four last weekend, and then just the excitement coming in the Stanley Cup playoffs here with our Red Wings. It's a great sports town, but it's a great town, and people got a lot of a jam, and we'll find a way through all this.
All right, just a couple of games left in the regular season. Give us your sense as to your team's readiness for the playoffs.
Well, we're ready to go. There's no question about it. I was really impressed with Osgood last night in his last little bit. The two previous games, I didn't like the way he finished last night. The two previous games, I thought we really dialed it up, and now it's a matter of getting through these games with Chicago and getting our eyes on whoever we're going to play. I'll watch that game tonight at 10 o'clock. Anaheim plays, and we'll find out maybe tonight who we're going with.
All right, thanks for your patience and putting up with us. We appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks very much. Go Tigers.
Mario, I will tell you that our coverage of the Red Wings and the Blackhawks tomorrow will get you going at 2:30 at Joe Louis Arena, part of our wall-to-wall coverage of sports this month. April in the D on Fox Sports Detroit.
Excellent, Keats. Thank you very much. The head coach looks good in Tigers colors as well as Red Wing colors.
Yes, he does. How about Keating? He's all over the place
He
today.
is, man. He's working overtime today. You think they're paying him overtime?
I don't know about all that, but he's working overtime.
He's all over the place. Thanks to Mike Babcock for spending some time with us. Elvis Andrus is the hitter with 1 out. Tigers ahead 1-0. Armando Galaraga gave up a couple of hits in the second, but he got a big double play ball from Davis.
And they're very excited about this young man playing shortstop for them so much. They moved a Gold Glove winning shortstop, Michael Young, a season ago over to third base this year.
You got to really be excited then. Here's a ball outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's off to a pretty good start, which should allow him to relax a little bit. Hitting .375 first 3 games of the year.
And Galaraga busts him inside for strike 3. It's his second strikeout.
Looked like a nice cut fastball here by Galaraga. And that ball started inside. And look at the jackknife here of Andrus, and the ball caught the inside corner. That's one thing about Galaraga. He doesn't throw a straight fastball. Most of his fastballs are moving. Either they're sinking or they're cutting, like that last one. Different breaking balls at different speeds. And he's not afraid. He's not afraid to throw the ball over the plate.
You know, Galaraga, it seems, has never been afraid, and that's why he won 13 games last year. That's the demeanor that he brings to the mound. Ian Kinsler stands in, looks at a strike.
Of course, pitching will be huge for Texas this year, just as it will be for Detroit. But you don't think they'd like to have Galaraga back?
Oh, in a heartbeat. Galaraga got to the big leagues originally, briefly with Texas. It seems like every year pitching is the key for the Texas Rangers. They always seem to mash.
They also had the youngster John Danks in their organization. Edison Volquez was also in the organization. So they had some good young pitchers. They just moved them to different spots for different people.
And they've all done really well with their new teams. Kinsler 0 for 1 with a ground out. He has hit safely in his team's first 3. There's a strike again on the inside part of the plate. 2-2.
Yeah, that cut fastball filthy. And that's the second time we've seen a right-handed hitter jackknife out of the way, and only to see this ball catch the inside corner. And how about the nice, calm frame job there from Laird, keeping the glove very still, giving Paul Emmel a real good look at it.
Full count. Mondo in search of a 1-2-3 inning. He had one in the first. Michael Young waiting on deck. Fouled back.
You know, Kinsler went down with an injury last year, sports hernia, on August 17th. And at that point in time, he was leading the league in hits and runs.
He was leading the league in just about everything, wasn't he? He was having a great year.
He's a good player.
Just got a piece of that one to stay alive. Made the All-Star team for the first time last year. Kinsler already has a couple of 3-hit games this season. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Kinsler is out of there, and Galaraga has his 3rd strikeout of the game. Rangers go 1-2-3. Coverage starts at 12:30 with Tigers Live. We have some of the Plus channel listings here. If you'd like a complete list, go to foxsports.com/Detroit. Tomorrow, Texas and the Tigers on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. And if you're planning to tune us in for Game 2 in this series, Game 1 right now is in the favor of the Tigers, 1-0. Curtis Granderson leads it off, then Placido Polanco and Maglio Ordonez. Benson drops in a strike, and it's quickly 0-2 on Granderson. Curtis has hits in each of his first 4. The 0-2 pitch. This has been known, obviously. Comerica Park has a triples ballpark, and Granderson has certainly taken advantage of that in his young career so far. 45 triples since the start of 06, which is the most in the American League.
He has really been an extra base machine since putting on the Tigers uniform. Only Alex Rodriguez has more extra base hits than Curtis.
It seems, Rod, that he really has made himself a terrific outfielder as well, because we talk about all of his offensive potential, but to play center field here could be a little bit tricky.
He's got a good teacher in Andy Van Slyke down at first base, their first base coach. Van Slyke won 5 Gold Gloves as a center fielder, and boy, does he work the outfielders hard.
Got him looking. Strike 3. Granderson is out.
And both Galaraga and Benson have some pretty good late life with their fastballs. This is a tailing fastball that just cuts right back, Greg Maddux style, at 89 miles an hour. Froze Granderson. He thought it was inside, couldn't get to it. Yeah, but one of the reasons Granderson's taken that next step is Van Slyke has been real good with all the outfielders.
He works them so hard that they end up hating him, but they're better for it. That's for sure. Polanco takes a strike. Placido fly to left field his first time up. Now just 2 for 14 to start this season. Tigers got a run in the second inning on the RBI hit by Gerald Laird. That's rolled foul. 0-2. Polanco back in there today after the day off yesterday. Marcus Thames batted in the 2 spot. Jim Leyland likes to do that when he gives Polanco a day off, put some power in that 2 hole. Marcus just chilling today.
Yeah, he is. Nice cap.
Nice shades. Grounded to third, off the bag. Fair ball. It'll roll into short left. Polanco takes the turn but holds up with a 1-out single.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I don't know if Young down at third base would have been able to make a play on Polanco anyway on this particular play. But it hits the bag and trickles into a shallow left field. The shortstop Andrews had to run it down. How about that?
Ooh, pulling out the Exmo.
Lincoln Mercury Exmo.
You can tell it's opening day.
All the bells and whistles.
All the bells and whistles. Here's Maglio Ordonez. Swings at the first pitch and pops it up.
Get foul.
Maybe room for Davis. There is not.
You know, we were talking about Michael Young, the third baseman of the Texas Rangers, and just how many base hits he gets the opposite way. Maglio has made a living hitting the ball to right field and center field the last couple of years himself. Remember that year he won the batting title, how early that season the ball club went to Seattle? And he had a conversation with Edgar Martinez. And Edgar Martinez told Maglio, if you want to take that next step, if you really want to be a great hitter, you've got to start utilizing right field a little bit more often. And since that conversation, Maglio has taken his game to another level.
Well, Maglio, or I should say Edgar Martinez, was also known as a guy that would take batting practice very seriously. He would work on things during BP.
Every ball that he would hit in batting practice would be down right field. As a matter of fact, Martinez, when he took batting practice, he would try to hit every single ball on the right field line to make sure that he kept his head down, kept his front shoulder in, and didn't pull off the baseball.
And Maglio hit .363 a couple of years ago to win the batting title. Bender misses high. 1 strike on Ordonez.
As many breaking balls as Benson has thrown, and especially when you got a guy like Maglio up there and a guy Cabrera in the on-deck circle. If you're Polanco, you have to anticipate something being in the dirt, and if he bounces one, you've got to get to second base.
Ground ball hit hard under the glove of the third baseman Young. Polanco will pull into second and stop there. A bullet. If Young fields that ball, it's an easy double play, but it got by him.
You know, that's why they tell you when you're very, very young that you have to get your glove down. You start with your glove on the ground, and you make the necessary adjustments to bring it up if the ball comes up. Young started with his glove down, and the ball just shot by him. He couldn't get his glove down in time. The ball was hit like a missile, but as an infielder, you still have to start from the ground up.
The ball tends to get on you a little bit quicker at third base, doesn't it, than second or short?
Absolutely. He was a little reluctant in making the decision to go to third base. As a matter of fact, when they called him in the offseason, Ron Washington and John Daniels, their general manager, and told him they wanted him to play third base, he said, well, you might as well go ahead and trade me. I won a Gold Glove last year. I really don't want to play third base. He thought about that for about a week and changed his tune.
Here's Cabrera now with 2 men on. Miguel fouls it back out of play 0-1.
That's the second consecutive at bat that Cabrera has swung at the very first pitch from Benson.
Well, Benson has been 12 out of 13 on first pitch strikes. So his MO has been to try and get ahead of hitters today. Cabrera bounced out swinging on that first pitch back in the first inning. There's a drive into right field. It is down, a base hit. Polanco coming to third. They're going to stop him there with that arm in right field. A wise choice.
No chance, no choice but to hold him.
They are loaded up with 3 straight singles.
He is so powerful in the lower half of his body. And when he gets his body in the kind of position that he did in that last swing, that's when he gets that tremendous bat speed. It's amazing how hard Cabrera can hit the ball to right field. This is what Lloyd McClendon was talking about in spring training. When the Tigers get themselves in a situation like this, runner on third, less than 2 outs, they must do a better job than they did last year. They have to score these runs.
Guillen popped up his first time. Well, one of the key plays yesterday, Rod, was early in the game when the Tigers loaded the bases and Inge hit that hard ground ball to third that probably would have broken the game open, but a great defensive play kept it at 2-0.
Yeah, Bautista made a really nice play.
And the Tigers couldn't muster anything after that. But a prime opportunity here with the bases loaded for Guillen. Benson in some hot water here. The 0-1. Line foul. So now he's behind in the count 0-2.
You know, you brought up the fact that he is now 13 of 14 in first pitch strikes to the Tigers hitters, but he really hasn't been able to put them away when he has been able to get ahead of guys.
Now Saltalamacchia stands up from the crouch and they'll reshuffle the signals here.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Saltalamacchia?
Yes, indeed.
On a nightly basis, that would be tough.
Got to get him a nickname.
Salty.
Salty.
Here's the 0-2. He's sided high. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Guillen.
It's a good pitch. That's what you need to do as a pitcher. You need to change the eye levels of the hitter. For the most part, he's worked at the bottom of the strike zone, but when he's gotten ahead, he has thrown that fastball up, trying to entice the Tigers hitters into swinging at it.
Benson underwent surgery for a torn rotator cuff in March of 2007. He also had some elbow surgery and missed the entire 07 season.
There was a time when he came up as a former #1 draft choice, and they thought he was going to be an absolute star. But sometimes arm injuries can derail that of a star-studded pitcher.
Yeah, there was some that thought that he had the capability of winning a Cy Young award. And he has had a decent career. He's had 5 different seasons of 10 or more wins. That's pulled foul down the right field line. Boy, it would really be nice for the Tigers to kind of break this one open a little bit early, especially with the offense that this Texas team has, but with this big crowd on hand, get them involved.
Saltalamacchia and also Benson, and wanting to make sure they don't make a mistake here to Carlos. Bases loaded, 1 out. Crucial part of the game.
There's a high fly ball into right field. Cruz coming over toward the corner. Polanco will tag. And the sacrifice fly will score the run. It's 2-0 Detroit. Guillen gets his second RBI of the year.
Hey, fans, see the Tigers take on the New York Yankees April 27th through 29th for only $10. Mezzanine seats for all April games. Select games in May are on sale now for only $10. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
You didn't just say $10, did you?
$10.
Wow.
See the Yankees.
That's nice. Here is Jeff Larish with runners at first and third. Tigers already put up 5 hits and lead 2-0. Larish had one of those hits, a single. That's fouled back out of play. Talking about Jeff's season at Toledo last year, 21 homers, 64 RBIs. As you look at Larish, Rod, and you've seen him play toward the end of last season and now this year as well. What kind of ceiling does this guy have power-wise, you think?
Well, it depends on how much playing time he gets. If he's a guy that they think is going to be a role player coming off the bench, and obviously he's not going to hit for a lot of power, it's tough to get your good timing. But if you give him 500 at-bats, I think Larish can hit you 20 home runs. He continues to make adjustments with his batting style and stance at this level. I know Jim likes him.
Tigers minor league player of the year 2 years ago in 07. And he was in Double-A. The 1-2 swung on and missed, and Benson strikes him out. Minimal damage done here by the Tigers in the third. They get a run and strand 2. He played 3. Keating one more time, who's standing by with one of our favorite people, Keats.
Yeah, Willie Horton has his grandson, Andre, alongside. He's got plenty of grandchildren from whom to choose to bring to a ball game. You got lots of them, eh?
Oh, 19 and 8th grade.
8 great grandchildren.
Yeah.
All right, give us your sense as to what we're seeing from this Tigers team here early in 2009.
Well, you're seeing a little different look at our team. I think you'll see a lot of speed right now. I'm getting the young man Anderson should help us a lot, and Jim he can do different type of lineups. I like what I see so far, and I'm a little concerned our pitchers right now. But I think if they settle in, I know we got some good young arms, and I was very impressed with Pastella tonight. He got himself in the jam at the last part, but I think he's going to be just fine.
You are a great ambassador for baseball in the city of Detroit. Obviously, your roots are here. You grew up here. In your opinion, how much does this team and this game mean to this town?
Well, I mean a great deal. You know, look like every time we have some problem in the city, this team, look at as a team to give you the lift. In 67, we had some problem and we got a lift in 68. But I think, you know, not only in the town of Detroit, across the great state of Michigan, the fans here, we got great fans. And I think do a lot, not on our team, the Red Wings, the Pistons, and the Lions, all of them do great credibility for the fans here.
All right, let's root on today. We appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
The great Willie Horton. Mario, back to you.
Thank you, Keith. You know, Rod, every time Willie's at the ballpark, he always takes time to stop into the booth and say hi. Very nice man.
I love Willie Horton. I've known Willie since 1979. I was a very young player playing in AAA for the very first time, and he kind of took me under his wing, and I was an opposing player, and just kind of told me some of the do's and the don'ts of, you know, what to do and just how to conduct yourself. And he's been a mentor to a lot of different young players.
And a great Tiger. Galaraga working against Josh Hamilton here with 1 out. Tigers ahead 2-0.
How about John Keating? He's hanging out in the suites today, isn't he?
With the high rollers.
Trying to get him a meal or two up there.
Now, that's not always a bad thing.
No, you hang out in the suites, you get a meal, and it's free.
And that's the best part. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Galaraga's filthy today. He's got some nasty movement on the breaking ball. We've already seen the cutter, 2-seam fastball.
He's given up a couple of hits. That's it. Hamilton bangs this one out of play.
I was looking at Hamilton's bio last night in their media guide. Mario, this guy did not play for 3 years. 3 full baseball seasons he did not play. Well, and to come back and to be this kind of player is unbelievable.
It really does make you wonder, had he not gone through some of the off-field problems that he had, the type of numbers he would have put up at this point. I mean, this kid's a great talent, and to be able to do that without having played the game for that long really is amazing. And he really came to light last year. Of course, he got a lot of publicity for hitting the 28 home runs in the first round of the home run hitting derby. But what a great talent. Three balls, 2 strikes on Hamilton. And there's ball 4. So Hamilton is on. Aflac. Look who's here for the first time this year at home. It's the Aflac Duck, who is the only current Tiger to play in the first game ever at Comerica Park.
I was wondering if the Duck was going to make it back from Canada. He wasn't on the charter.
He got here a lot quicker than we did, that's for sure.
He didn't get stuck at the border.
We did. There's a strike called on Hank Blaylock. That's Galaraga's first walk, by the way. Blaylock 0 for 1 with a ground ball. You know, the Rangers were going so good that coming into this game they had not trailed at any point this season. Now obviously it was only a 3-game series in Cleveland. That's still pretty impressive until the Tigers took their lead here today. They really manhandled the Indians. They outscored them in that series 29-14. little bit outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Galaraga's been pretty good against the American League West. Sometimes you just pile up numbers against certain teams or certain divisions, and for Galaraga it's the West. 3-1 record, an ERA in the 3s. Swing and a miss. Blaylock swinging out of his shoes there.
Good pitch. 2-1 count. Predictable fastball count. He didn't give him the fastball. He pulled the string on him. And that's one of the reasons why you've seen that wild swing by Hammer and Hank Blaylock.
He's had his injury problems, had some wrist surgery. Last year, played in only 65 games. Hit hard and caught by the second baseman, Polanco. His throw is a little bit tardy, but a nice play. Blaylock hit that ball hard. And there's nothing to show for it.
Well, Polanco brings his glove with him every single day. And he had Blaylock play perfectly.
Two outs. Polanco part of that defense that the Tigers hope will be improved this year. Of course, Polanco has done his share from second base the last couple of years. Nelson Cruz, the batter. Big swing and a miss, 0-1.
That's what you must do against Cruz. He is so talented. You have to get ahead of him and expand the strike zone. If you're falling behind this guy, he's going to punish you. Already a couple of home runs this year for their talented right fielder.
He is a native of the Dominican Republic and played in the World Baseball Classic for the Dominican. Didn't like that call.
Dominican lost in the first round, didn't they, this year?
Can you believe that? I think the Netherlands beat them this year. Early on in that tournament.
Gene Kingsell was on that Netherlands team. Remember that name?
That's Sir Gene Kingsell. He was knighted. Swing and a miss. Cruz is gone. So are the Rangers. 2-0 Detroit. The only current Tiger to play in the first game at Comerica Park. It's a pretty good question today. The answer is that guy right there. Carlos Guillen, who played third base for the Seattle Mariners on that day. He is the only guy on the Tigers roster that played in that game, and he was 0 for 3 in that game. I asked Carlos, 1 for 3 rather. I asked Carlos what he remembered about that game before today's game, and he said frio. Frio, 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 which means cold, 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 and it was. Flare into right field, 1 gone. Laird is retired, and this is how cold it was. You needed some blankets, you needed some parkas. It was April 11th of 2000.
against center field.
And many say that had it not been opening day for a new ballpark in Detroit, they probably wouldn't have played on that day. Bobby Higginson was covered from head to toe. And today, much better weather. A jam-packed ballpark. Tigers and Rangers playing in the 4th inning.
It's my 7th year here as an announcer for the Tigers, and opening days have been awfully kind in the 7 years I've been here, weather-wise.
I would agree with you. We've had pretty good luck. I think more than anything, if as long as the rain stays away, you can put up with a little bit of chilly weather, and if it's not too windy. But boy, on that day back in 2000, it was cold, snowing. Today, the fans are lined up, standing room only. Check swing. Did he go? He did not. Three 3-0 on Brandon Inge. Inge popped up back in the 2nd. Everett waiting on deck. There's the strike. Right back up the middle into center. Inge has a base hit.
Hey fans, see the Tigers take on the New York Yankees April 27th through 29th for only $10. Mezzanine seats for all April games, and select games in May are on sale now for just $10. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. That's such a great deal. That's the 2nd time I've read that.
It is. In as many innings too.
How about that?
Hey, you just read them, man. They hand them to you. That's just your job to read them. But it is a great deal. Just to reinforce the point. Adam Everett, the batter, fly to center field back in the 2nd.
That was a good approach there by Brandon. 3-1 fastball. Didn't try to do a whole lot with it. Just hit the ball right back up the middle for a base hit.
Everett played his college ball at South Carolina. He was the #1 pick years back in 1998 of the Boston Red Sox. But pretty much made his name in the big leagues with his time with the Houston Astros. There goes the runner on 0-1. It's lined to the right side. It's going to get through a base hit. Inge on his way to third base. He'll pull in there, and Everett has a single, and the Tigers are in business again.
I don't know for sure if that was a hit and run or a straight steal, but Brandon Inge had such a great jump off first base. He had a jump like he was stealing. Look at him. Most guys don't get that type of jump when it's a hit and run. Everett swung, Brandon able to get to third base, but what a tremendous jump by Brandon. And we've talked about some of the things that Andy Van Slyke has worked on with some of the base runners. They've got to be more aggressive. They got to work on their jumps, because that's the way they're going to steal some bases and make some things happen.
We've seen Inge be put in motion a couple of times already this year now, and he may be one of those guys that they might try and ramp up in terms of stealing bases. Brandon has not been known as a guy that'll swipe too many. He had 4 last year, but 9 the season before that.
And Curtis not getting a real good look at that cut fastball or breaking ball that Benson has been featuring to him on the inner third of the plate. We talked about this situation for Curtis when we were in Toronto as a hitter. You got to allow the ball to get deep in the strike zone, and really all you want to do is hit a fly ball to left field, which could be tough where he's pitching Granderson, but that has to be your mindset. You'd rather get jammed in this situation than be out in front and roll over something on the ground to second base.
Curtis 0 for 2, ground ball and a strikeout. Saltalamacchia has had to block quite a few baseballs in the dirt in this game, and he does it again. This time with a runner at third base. Good chance here for the Tigers to add to their 2-0 lead. They've held this Texas offense down so far. Galaraga doing a nice job. The 2-1. Pulled foul. It's another busy offseason for Curtis Granderson. It always seems that it is for Granderson. He's been a terrific ambassador for the game of baseball, and in some ways, Rod, becoming the face, I think, of this organization. I know Cabrera got the big deal last year, and you know, is a terrific player, but boy, Granderson does so much in the community. Here's the 2-2. There's one lifted in the air, deep into right field. On the run is Cruz, still going back. He can't get it. Off the wall. One run will score. To third base goes Everett, and it's a double for Curtis Granderson.
Take a look at Cruz in the right up here in the corner. He gets fooled on this ball. There's a lot of wind up there today. That's a breaking ball at the bottom of the strike zone. He comes in momentarily, then he finally picks it up, and it's out there by one of our great sponsors, Bell Tire. Bounces off the Bell Tire, and then Granderson only able to get to second base because Everett was not able to score. They thought the ball was going to be caught, and Granderson thought himself it was going to be a sacrifice fly.
Grandy gets his 4th RBI, and the Tigers now lead 3-0. Nice job with the bonus drop for our sponsor in that.
Why not? You got to take care of the sponsors. They've been with us every year.
They have. Since the get-go, from the very beginning. So Galaraga now has 3 runs to work with and maybe more.
Take a look at the flags in left field on top of the scoreboard. They're blowing out toward right field. And those are really the flags. If you come to a ball game here at Comerica Park, if you want to know direction the wind's blowing, take a look at those flags. That gives you a pretty good understanding of what the wind's doing. And that's what happened to Cruz in right field.
Infield has been pulled in a little bit now as Polanco tries to pick up a few more. Placido had a single and scored a run in the 3rd.
And Ron Washington playing his infield at a halfway depth. Not all the way in, but at a distance where he feels like if the ball's hit sharp enough on the ground, the infielders can make the decision at coming home. And they can also force Everett into making the decision. And my guess is he's coming on contact. Tigers want to score as many runs as they can.
And Polanco is hit. That's going to load the bases. Placido had a brief stare out there for Benson. And now Saltalamacchia and Polanco talking a little bit.
Well, 2-seam fastball right in the ribs.
So Placido gets to first base. Now we'll see if the Tigers can make Benson pay here with the bases loaded.
And Polanco probably felt like that Benson did that intentionally. Runners on second and third, 1 out. A guy that has impeccable control hit you right in the rib cage. Kind of makes you wonder.
Well, here's Ordonez.
And they also know that Maglio hit into a lot of double plays last year.
And they're trying to get one here. Ordonez has a walk and a single. Tigers a chance to bust this one open. And they have the meat of their lineup lurking. Ordonez, then Cabrera. That's fouled away. 0-2. So again, Benson gets ahead of a hitter, but not as much success as he has wanted in putting some of those hitters away. He's had time with Pittsburgh, the New York Mets, and the Baltimore Orioles. Here's the 0-2. Again, Saltalamacchia down to his knees to block it.
He's been smothering quite a few. It also gives Benson some confidence in throwing his breaking ball in the dirt. if you know that catcher will get down there and get dirty for you.
Saltalamacchia getting the start today. They also have Taylor Teagarden, who is highly thought of and regarded. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. And Ordonez goes down. That's a huge strikeout for Benson.
He's not out of the woods yet, though.
Far from it.
A little tighter breaking ball this time from Benson. He's thrown some big breaking balls, but that one was a little bit tighter. And you can see Maglio very aggressive with his upper half, pulling that shoulder off the baseball, which causes the head to follow. And therefore, you really don't get a good look at it.
There is activity in the Texas pen. Warner Madrigal is warming up. Now Cabrera with the bases loaded with Tigers. Swinging it right, deep into left center field, way back. This ball is gone. It's a grand slam on opening day for Miguel Cabrera. And this place is up for grabs.
Told you he wasn't out of the woods yet.
No, he wasn't. And the Tigers indeed have busted this one wide open, 7-0.
The great fans here at Comerica Park want Cabrera to come out for a curtain call.
Here's Carlos Guillen.
How good is Cabrera?
Oh. Scary good right now. Third home run already, 8 RBIs. Ten hits in 16 at bats. What a start for Cabrera.
Well, I think I'm gonna go out on a limb, partner.
MVP.
Player of the week.
Okay, you're gonna start slow.
You know I will do that from time to time.
Oh boy, that's not a very long limb.
I'm gonna write him on my ballot.
I think you got a winner there. 7-0 Detroit. Second career grand slam for Cabrera. His first with the Tigers. It went 424 feet. Impressive.
You know, I think you brought up a great point yesterday, talking about some of the guys that played in the World Baseball Classic, how the intensity level was turned up in that competition. And the guys that played, there's several on several teams that are off to really good starts. Really good starts.
3-1 pitch. Grounded toward first. Glove there by Davis. And that is that for the Tigers, but they send 8 men to the plate. They have a huge inning, scoring 5 times, 4 of them on this swing. Grand slam for Cabrera. are the Factory. Back here at Comerica Park, Tigers have a big lead now. Let's bring in John Keating again, who's gone from the suites to hanging out with some of his peeps.
Absolutely. way out here in center field. We're just above the jungle, which is the new open-air spot here at Comerica Park. This is Kate and Carrie and Sarah, all from East Lansing. Kate, Mario, a former Red Sox fan who were convincing to be a Tiger fan. Isn't that so?
Not hard to convince me, though.
All right. She was up cheering when Miguel Cabrera just hit that grand slam. Carrie, give me a sense as to how much you've been working on her to get her to come to our side, to the good side.
Well, she's my roommate, and we call her Boston because she's from Boston. But I'm like, really, Red Sox? Not that cool. I mean, let's talk about the Tigers and how much we got going on with the Tigers.
All right, they went to the Red Wings game last night. They're at their Tigers game today. And not only that, as we celebrate this particular part of our calendar year, they can sing, ladies.
Yeah, I can. Ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. April in the D.
There you go, Mario. Sing along with the girls out here in center field.
All right, Keats, next time I insist you wear the hat. Here's Marlon Byrd to lead it off in the fifth inning for the Texas Rangers. It is 7-0 in favor of the Tigers. Here's a bouncer that goes foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Marlon Byrd. Chris Davis and Jared Saltalamacchia. Well, that's what opening day is all about. I mean, you got to go out and have some fun with the fans.
Why wouldn't you?
And they're having a blast today.
You knew it would take a couple of special fans to get Keats out of those comfy suites, though.
That is true. There's a ground ball hit to third. Inge throws low, dug out by Cabrera. 1 gone. Now, it's been a great day so far. The weather has cooperated. The Tigers' bats are red hot. Galaraga has looked good. This is what opening day should be like in the Motor City. A grand slam by Cabrera. A couple of guys from Team Venezuela hooking up today. Galaraga and Cabrera to lead their team. Davis cuts and misses. Davis bounced into a 4-6-3 double play. Back in the second. Armando really has been only in trouble once in this game, and that's when he gave up back-to-back hits in the second inning, but then he got the double play. 1-1 pitch. Davis was the Rangers Rookie of the Year last year. Good looking hitter. 17 homers, 55 RBIs. Tipped it into the glove of Gerald Laird for out number 1 or number 2, and a strikeout number 5 for Mr. Galaraga.
That last fastball by Galaraga, 93 miles an hour. So when he wants to dial up and get a little extra, he has the ability to do that. But for the most part, he's working right around 88 to 89 with tremendous movement. What a pitching performance so far by Galaraga.
It's been great.
Against a real good hitting team.
That is what has made this impressive today. A Rangers team that we all knew could score a lot of runs and came out of the chute swinging the bats very well in Cleveland. Saltalamacchia is 0 for 1. Must be nice as an organization to be as deep as Texas is and was in the catching department, a department that not too many teams are very deep at, to be able to trade away a guy like Gerald Laird, and they still have 2 quality guys and a prospect in their organization.
Well, apparently that's an area they pay a lot of attention to in their organization.
The 1-1.
That slider's just disappearing on the left-handed hitters. And most left-handed hitters love the ball down in the end, but this one is way down. And the one thing about it, it's not staying on that plane very long. It looks like a strike, and all of a sudden Davis is taking is taking a swing at it, and the bottom's falling out of it.
It'll head toward the seats. Inge on the run. Out of room. Saltalamacchia, just 23 years old, a switch hitter. making an opening day roster for the first time in his career.
That's added value.
Switch hitting.
Switch hitting catcher.
They've got him set up 1-2. And down he goes, strike 3. 6 strikeouts now for Galaraga. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. There's more April in the D action tonight when the Pistons host the New Jersey Nets. Coverage begins at 7 with Pistons Insider, followed by Pistons Live at 7:30, and the game at 8. Pistons basketball presented by Bell Tire tonight on Fox Sports Detroit. This must be April in the D, and it is indeed as Larish hits one deep into left. He goes the other way, and that ball is gone. Jeff Larish on the first pitch of the 5th has made it 8-0. They are beating up on Benson today.
Well, they know Benson's going to be around the strike zone. He's a strike thrower. Does not throw a lot of balls. Larish went up there very aggressive and absolutely clubbed it. Take a look at this next swing, though. How quiet he is with his approach. The head doesn't move. Strong front side allows the bat to get through the strike zone. You can't do it any better than that as a left-handed hitter. Outstanding swing.
Larish excited, going deep on opening day with authority the opposite way as well. Second home run of the game for the Tigers. 8-0 lead. That is their 10th hit in this game, and they're pouring it on now. Gerald Laird, the batter. Laird got the Tigers on the board first back in the second when he singled in a run. Second RBI of the year for the Tigers backstop. He takes ball 3 inside. And there's ball 4, so he lost him on 4 straight pitches. Bring up Brandon Inge. That is the second walk now for Benson.
New pitching coach Mike Maddox out to talk to Benson. His first year, obviously, as a pitching coach for the Rangers.
Well, Nolan Ryan, the former Ranger great who took over the ball club, has kind of made it known that he wants his starting pitchers to go deeper in games. And we talked about that last year, Rod, when we were in Texas. That was the big thing that Nolan Ryan was talking about.
And not only is he want them to do that at the major league level, he wants the minor league instructors to start to stretch some of the young kids out, so when they do make it to the big leagues, they're accustomed to going deeper in games.
Of course, Nolan pitched in an era where
there was no pitch count.
No, exactly. Yeah, 100 was no big deal.
Just getting loose.
Brandon Inge, the batter. Inge had a single and a run scored back in the fourth. Part of that big uprising. The Tigers scored 5 times last inning. And he missed high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Originally #1 pick of the Pirates out of Clemson University, Chris Benson. College Player of the Year that season as well. 1996. Inge pops it up. Shallow left field. Back of the shortstop Andrus. He's being called off by the center fielder Hamilton.
It's a nice job by Hamilton in center field. It's also a play that Andrus could have made, but there's a lot of wind up there this afternoon. If you're one of the outfielders and you can call off the infielder, that's exactly what you need to do. Is that part of his hat?
I'm trying to figure that out myself. Is he going hunting after the game?
Could be.
Ear flaps now to keep the players warm. Strike 1 on Adam Everett. Everett got into the action with a single, scored a run in the 4th inning. The 0-1. Well, Everett has been described as a very good defensive player. He was hoping to also contribute offensively this year, but he realizes his value to the team is his glove. And the Tigers this year had a need for the shortstop position. Edgar Renteria moving on. Tigers have some guys in the minor leagues that can play the positions that are considered prospects, but Everett right now is here to hold down the fort. Check to swing and rolls it to first base. Scooped up by Davis. He'll fire to second 1, and that's all they get.
Hey fans, be here Monday at 1:05 when the Tigers face Chicago White Sox. The first 10,000 fans receive a Miguel Cabrera American League Home Run Champ bobblehead courtesy of Little Caesars. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or log on to tigers.com.
Can't wait for that.
Cabrera bobblehead.
Add that to your collection.
Got a crown on it.
Stands out. He had Benson acting like a bobblehead when he hit that home run. He was just shaking his head back and forth. There's a strike. 0-1 on Granderson, doubled in a run in the 4th inning. Speaking of that pitch total we were talking about, he has reached 100. And there's your ratio. Granderson drills one to right field, and it's caught by Cruz on the line. The Tigers get one more run on the home run by Jeff Larish. It is now 8-0 Detroit. Opening day, we check in again with John Keating, hanging out in the stands. Keats?
Well, Mario, when you walk around this ballpark, sometimes things just hit you over the head. This group of friends they're wearing basically a baseball snuggie, a Tiger snuggie. It's one garment that all the arms and heads come through. This is Nick. Your mom made this?
Actually, we've had a blast for a few. Miss some.
All right, Mario, back to you. They initially tried to get me by saying they found this and just put it on. The good investigative reporter in me wasn't buying that so much.
Hey, Keith, anytime you can sneak in the word snuggie in a big league broadcast, we've had a good day. 8-0 Tigers lead as Galaraga goes back to the hill in the 6th inning. And he is facing Elvis Andrus.
So far, the scouting report that the Tigers had on this Texas Rangers team was a good one, and we talked about it earlier. And Gerald Laird played for Texas last year, so he knows a lot of the strengths of these hitters. And boy, has Galaraga been able to attack their weaknesses.
They have been a terrific tandem today, Laird and Galaraga. Just 2 hits for this high-powered, high-octane Texas offense. Andrus struck out his first time up. Loops this one in the air to shallow left field. Guillen on the charge. Will have to play it on 1 hop. That's their 3rd hit. And the leadoff man is on for Texas for the first time in this ball game. That'll bring up the top of the order, Ian Kinsler. Well, just the start of this series. You've got Verlander going tomorrow against lefty Matt Harrison, and then Edwin Jackson, who was just terrific in Toronto, taking on Kevin Millwood. Texas in for 3, just the start of this first homestand. Then the Chicago White Sox come to town. Kinsler hits one hard but foul down the left field line.
And what is Comcast telling us about the speed ranges of Galaraga in this ball game? Pretty good.
Well, he's ahead again, 0-2. Kinsler signed a 5-year deal last year with the Texas Rangers. They obviously have identified him as someone that they wanted to lock up and a big part of their future, and talked about the great year he was having until the hernia surgery in the month of August. Ground ball and a strikeout in this game for Kinsler. The 0-2 pitch is skied in the air to left. This is heading back toward the seats.
Don't give up on it. Good job.
He doesn't, and Guillen gets there. Boy, the wind, we've talked about it, may have brought that one back.
Absolutely. And Carlos knows exactly what that wind is doing up there. He watched that ball that Granderson hit a few innings ago to right field that just carried. So you don't give up on the ball because you know it's going to blow back and give you a chance to make a play. And that ball, when it left the bat of Kinsler, was about 15 rows deep in the stands in left field.
He's going to bring up Michael Young. Young is 0 for 2, strikeout and a fly ball. It's popped up in the air in a shallow right. Maglio coming in, and there are 2 gone. Well, Guillenrod's still trying to feel his way through left field, but we've often talked about if you're good enough or a good enough athlete to play the shortstop position, you should be able to handle one of the outfield positions.
Van Slyke, I was talking to him in spring training, and I was asking him the fact that Guillen wasn't there to get all the work because he was playing in the World Baseball Classic. He said he feels like Guillen will be the best of the left fielders that the Tigers have had since he's been here, for that very fact that you said.
Really?
He's athletic enough to play out there.
Well, he played a little bit of it with the Tigers last year when they moved him around, and he was hopeful of playing some of that in the WBC, but that didn't materialize. But he's looked comfortable out there. Here's the 1-0 to Hamilton. That's in the air to right. Maglio on the run. He'll play it on 1 hop. 2-out single for Hamilton. Now Hank Blaylock. Skipper was fired up before the game today. He really realizes and has come to appreciate what opening day means here in the Motor City. He was asked, with all the hard times, and there are people that are actually going to be at this game today that may have lost jobs. With the economy the way it is, you guys really want to put on a good show today, don't you? And he said, absolutely. We want to do it every day, but especially in these times when people have come out to support this team.
He truly believes that Detroit is one of the best baseball towns in America, if not the best. He also mentioned St. Louis. He said no disrespect to Boston or New York, but he said just pure fans and fans that ask intelligent questions. He said Detroit and St. Louis are his top 2 best team towns.
Here comes Granderson in the shallow center. It's going to drop, base hit. This will get a run in. A looping single by Hank Blaylock. And the Rangers have their first run of the game.
Got a couple of bloop singles in this inning off Galaraga. Nothing Granderson can do. Blaylock, when he takes a full swing, you're not going to come in right away. He paused momentarily, and then he realized it was going to be in shallow center. He had no opportunity at catching. It looked like Everett got even closer to it than Granderson did.
So brief confab on the hill now with Laird going out to talk with Galaraga. And we get the pitch count for Armando, 81. He's thrown a lot of strikes. Here's Nelson Cruz. This guy's got a lot of talent. Cruz, their minor league player of the year last year. He was the MVP of the Pacific Coast League. The Tigers now think about getting the bullpen working. Gene Lamont picks up the bat phone. Calls out there in left field. The 0-1 pitch. Texas Rod has always been a very good offensive team, but I would think it's really difficult. And Nolan Ryan disagrees with this, and he talked about it last year, to get pitchers to come to Texas, and that it's a tough ballpark to pitch in. The heat, the wind is always blowing out. A lot of runs, a lot of home runs are hit in that stadium.
Well, he's the one that's offering the money. So I'm sure if he offers enough money to some of the free agents out there, they'll go to Texas.
Bobby C is heating up in the Detroit pen. He was really good in that Toronto series. The 2-1. Wave and a miss. 2-2 on Nelson Cruz.
That's something Galaraga has done very well throughout the game today when he does find himself in a fastball count. As he was there, 2 balls and 1 strike to a good fastball hitter. Tremendous confidence in throwing his off-speed pitches and locating them for strikes.
On the ground at third base, Brandon Inge bobbles but stays with it for the force. Side retired. They get a run, leave a couple. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning on opening day, the big blow off the bat of Miguel Cabrera. It's time for our Coors Light freeze cam, and Cabby went deep in the 4th. A grand slam home run off Chris Benson, and that really busted it wide open. And the Tigers enjoying a nice lead on Coors Light freeze can.
You know, that was a perfect example of what hitting coaches talk about sometimes, and you can really see it as you slow it down, where they tell the hitters to lead with your hands when you're swinging the bat, and the barrel of the bat stays in the bat zone a long, long time. I mean, you could see it perfectly there.
We have a wall side windows pitching change, by the way. Warner Madrigal is on now for Texas. Last season's numbers, 31 appearances.
22 strikeouts in 36 innings, 14 walks.
And he will face Placido Polanco, Maglio Ordonez, and Miguel Cabrera. 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup. That's a nice play. Right out of the chute, one gone. Madrigal is a native of San Pedro de Macorís. And as all baseball fans seem to know, in the past produced quite a few pretty good shortstops. Madrigal's 25 years old. Here's Maglio. Single walk strikeout for Ordonez. One ball, one strikeout, Ordonez.
Madrigal has a pretty good fastball, 93, 94. From a 3/4 arm slot right over the top. Straight fastball.
One and two. Madrigal is one of those guys that began his professional career as a position player and was converted to a pitcher. That's flared to right field. Routine for Nelson Cruz, and there are two gone. It's going to bring up Miguel Cabrera, who has been slugging his way into some pretty good numbers since July 1st of last year. This is pretty good company, the highest slugging percentage.
Oh, those are superstars there. Superstars.
And he has done nothing to hurt those numbers early on this season. Grand slam in the 4th inning, his 3rd home run of the year. Cabrera also homered in the home opener last year here in Detroit against Kansas City. Hit hard in the air and high to right field, but this one is going to stay in the park. Cruz in front of the track. And the Tigers go 1, 2, 3. 6 in the books on opening day. Galaraga has looked outstanding.
courtesy of Armando Galaraga and his dominance this afternoon of a very good Texas Rangers offense. Take a look at the movement on these breaking balls, these cut fastballs. Even in slow motion, it looks very, very good. And then you know what you get. It's absolutely filthy. Galaraga, we talked about him and the fact that what he could do opening day, his cool, calm, and collectiveness has been superb.
How about that filthy transition they built for you?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Took him 7 years, but we got him on board.
We'll get a few more before the year's done. The numbers on Galaraga are very, very good. In fact, the only run he gave up was on a bloop hit. Marlon Byrd is the batter. He'll be followed by Davis and then Saltilamakia. 8-1 Tigers in the lead. That's drilled toward left field and foul. Hey, John Kitty's hanging out there in foul ground.
Yeah, I almost had a chance at that one.
Where's your glove?
Well, we're down the left field foul down the left field line here, and I want to introduce friend Chris, who went to all 4 games in Toronto to see the Tigers play there. But what stands out about Chris is, hold this up, actual bare arms. We haven't seen these in Michigan since October.
2 years ago.
The sun is out. People are warming up to the idea of baseball, to be sure. Mario, this might surprise you, but on opening day, not everybody in the ballpark cares so much about the outcome or even the game itself. But lots of people, as this one has gone in the direction of the Tigers, certainly getting into the start of baseball 2009. Chris, give me your sense. 5 games in now. What do you think?
We're looking good. We're going to get him. Our bullpen looks better. Just got to get the bats warming up. But at 100, what? 8 games left, and we're going to get him. Go Tigers! Eat 'em up, Tigers! Eat 'em up!
There you go, Mario. We've had expert analysis. Ernie Harwell and Willie Horton. And now Chris from Windsor.
Well, we appreciate it, Keith. Don't forget, you still have to work, so don't hang out there too long, all right? 8-1 Tigers lead as we play in the 7th. And Galaraga trying to put away Marlon Byrd here. Pete's been all over this ballpark.
He got his exercise in today.
That's true. 2-2. Byrd has a single and a ground out in this game. Galaraga has fanned 6. Make it 7. 1 out.
A little bit more Exmo here for you in slow motion. And I talked about the plane of his pitches not staying on that direct line toward home plate very long. You see it in one spot as a hitter, all of a sudden the ball's gone, and that's how you rack up 7 strikeouts. He's been pounding the strike zone today.
Here's Chris Davis. He'll off this one in the air toward left center field. Guillen is over there. 2 gone. We talk about the effect that Rick Knapp is trying to have on this staff, and he talks about hitting the strike zone, pounding it early. And I overheard him talking to a reporter today saying, you know, one of the byproducts of that is that sometimes you're going to give up runs until these guys get fully on board with the program. I think we saw that a little bit with Verlander. We saw it somewhat in that Toronto series, but that will be some of the byproduct early.
It's a good habit to get into, though, because if you're pounding the strike zone and you're throwing lots of strikes, then your defenders, they stay on their toes and they make better plays for you.
Well, that's the plan, and we saw Jackson follow that plan in his start. Galaraga doing it here today. Swing and a miss. Saltilamakia is 0 for 2. And he's down in the count 0-2.
And first time through the Tigers rotation, we have seen 2 spectacular starts. Of course, Jackson was just sensational a few days ago in Toronto.
Got him. He tried to hold up, couldn't do it. Another strikeout, make it 8. A career high for Armando Galaraga, who has been one of the stars today here on opening day in the Motor City. And this one, number 8, as Saltilamakia was unable to hold on. right now, the fans are on their feet here at Comerica Park on opening day as we get ready for God Bless America, sung by Ken Casey.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
TIGERS.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic Tigers gear, including clubhouse caps and t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and a whole lot more. Get your Tigers gear straight from the source, TIGERS.com. What a day of baseball here. It's opening day in the Motor City, and the Tigers have really put on a good show for a sellout crowd here. 8-1 Detroit in the lead, and the Tigers will bat here in the bottom of the 7th inning. They have Carlos Guillen leading it off. Guillen, Larish, and Laird here in the 7th inning, facing Warner Madrigal, who took over for Benson, their starter. Chris Benson taken out of the game after 5 innings. Carlos has a sacrifice fly to his credit today, plus an RBI. Tigers trying to win their 2nd game of the season after dropping 3 out of 4 in Toronto. They have really responded in front of the home crowd, and now a chance with this homestand here to pick up some early season victories, get rolling a little bit. Dan Guillen thought he had a walk.
He sure did. Well, there's no doubt this team's going to score some runs, and they've got a good offensive club. And when you get the kind of starting pitching that Galaraga has delivered today, you're going to put yourself in a situation where you win most games.
That's drilled deep. Left field picking up steam, but it's caught by Marlon Byrd. Well, just moments ago, Kid Rock actually saying the 7th inning stretch here, take me out to the ball game.
1, 2, take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Give me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. Let's root for the. If they don't win, it's a shame. 'Cause it's 1, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Hey, Kid Rock, a Motor City icon with "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" here, and I don't know, maybe we're starting a tradition today.
Possibly.
It could be. Jeff Larish hitting now with 1 out. Madrigal, since coming into this game, has retired all 4 Tigers he has faced. Larish pops it up. Left side of the infield. Young circling as the wind gets a hold of that one as well. 2 gone. That'll bring up Gerald Laird.
Can't say enough about the job that Laird has done in the game today, handling Galaraga. You know, we give a lot of credit to the pitcher on most nights when the pitcher is dominant, but the catcher is the one putting the signs down, and Galaraga has not shaken him off very often today.
Oh, and Laird is hit by the pitch. That is the second Tiger that has been drilled in this game. Polanco is the other, and he was hitting the ribs.
Well, it's not bad to pitch inside when you've given up 8 runs to the other team. You have to establish the inner third of the plate. That one appeared to get away from Madrigal.
Here's Brandon Inge. Inge had a single, scored a run in the 4th inning, 1 for 3. .294 on the year now for Brandon. That ball sailed by his helmet. 2-0. The crowd oohing and eyeing. Inside again. 3-0. Madrigal was cruising through this inning until he hit a batter, and now he's falling behind Inge. There's a strike. On deck is Adam Everett. 3-1 pitch is high. That is ball 4. Well, another reminder, tomorrow's game against the Rangers will be carried on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. Coverage starts at 12:30 with Tigers Live. We've compiled a list of some of the channel numbers here for Fox Sports Plus, Detroit Plus, foxsports.com/Detroit. You can go online there and you can get the rest of the listings. It'll be Matt Harrison and Justin Verlander.
And Justin trying to get back on track after just a 1 start in Toronto, where he had some great stuff that day.
That'll move the Tigers runners up. Yeah, hopefully Verlander can have that same kind of stuff in his start tomorrow. And we know Galaraga's had great stuff today.
Yeah, Verlander's fastball was getting 96, 97. But he left some up and they got hit.
I know Leland the other day was talking about how it's nice for a guy like Verlander to be able to reach back and go 97, 98, but he thinks he could be more effective if he pitches in the 93, 94 range.
Yeah, I read that. But if you're going to get down to that range, you got to have some movement.
Yeah. Well, and I think I guess that was the point, is to see Josh Roop warming up. Verlander did have some outstanding stuff. But those pitches at 97, 98, 99 are maximum effort pitches. And Leland again preaching this year how his starters have to go deeper. Well, how good have the Tigers starters been in the last 4 games? Pretty good.
Well, if you get that out of your starters, on a nightly basis. You're going to win more than you lose. That's for sure. They could have easily taken 3 of the 4 games in Toronto. New pitching coach, Rick Knapp.
It's another walk. This is turning into a mess for Madrigal. They're loaded up with Tigers. Now he's got to deal with the leadoff man, Curtis Granderson.
A new pitching coach there, standing next to Ron Washington, the manager of the Texas Rangers. Mike Maddox, the brother of Greg Maddox.
Everybody talks about Greg, but Mike pitched quite a bit in the big leagues as well.
He did. Several different teams.
Well, here's Granderson, who doubled in a run back in that big 5-run 4th inning for the Tigers. Strike 1. (8-1) Tigers lead. They broke it open with the 5-run 4th, and Galaraga has not needed a whole lot of support today. Of course, Cabrera's grand slam was the big blow, and Armando the recipient. Sitting on the bench, cool, calm, and collected. The 0-1. Randy fouls it away. Granderson now has hit safely in all 5 so far this year. We're talking about Madrigal as one of those guys that began his professional career as a position player. He was an outfielder, and typically when guys have good arms but can't hit, might as well try pitching. And Madrigal has got to the big leagues on the hill, and it looked like he hit Granderson. Grandy's going down to first, but no. Home plate umpire Paul Emmel said, nope, come on back. He tried to sell it, and here comes Jim Leland. Emmel was looking for an appeal on that check swing, and Granderson thought he was hit.
I mean, if it did nick him, it had to get him on the elbow, but the ball never really changed directions.
2-2 pitch. Smothered again by Saltalamacchia. Now it's 3-2 with the bases loaded. Guess what? The runners will start. And the crowd getting back into it now. A sellout crowd of better than 44,000 fans on opening day.
And Curtis might drive in all 3 of these guys.
Driven down the right field line, and that is a foul ball. Ooh, you almost got your wish there. That would have scored him easily. Randy has 4 RBIs this season. So they'll start the carousel again. Ball 4 down low. Score the run. Granderson gets an RBI. The Tigers add another. It's 9-1.
He just lost it after hitting Laird.
It happened quickly, didn't it? He got the first 2 men, hit Laird, and then walked downhill. So Granderson has his 2nd RBI today. And Madrigal is done. So they go back to the bullpen. We'll step aside. All Tigers on opening day, 9-1.
Well, it was in the 4th inning. If bases were loaded, Cabrera was first pitch swinging all afternoon long. He got one from Benson, hit it 420 feet from home plate. Then in the 5th inning, Jeff Larish leads off and hits a laser into the Tigers bullpen. It's been a great day for Tigers hitters.
Boy, has it. They have put up 10 hits in this game today. Here's our Comerica game summary. Miguel Cabrera with his 2nd career grand slam. That broke it open. Larish, you saw his home run. He scored a couple of times. And how about the job Armando Galaraga has done? A career-high 8 strikeouts.
Boy, oh boy. I mean, he's just picking up where he left off last year.
Well, you wonder how a guy like that becomes available. I don't know, maybe he's a late bloomer and it just happened for him. Fortunately, it's happening on the Tigers clock. 13-game winner last year. Cruising along here in his first start. Should Leland make some adjustments to his card as the new pitcher comes on now for the Texas Rangers, and he is Josh Roop.
The 2nd game of this year for Roop has not been scored upon. 1 walk, 1 strikeout.
Pretty good day for Polanco. He has been on base twice, scored twice, has a base hit. Saltalamacchia has been in the dirt all day long, blocking balls.
Roop must like that hat. They usually give you a new one on opening day.
Yeah, it looks like he's had it for years.
Must be his lucky cap.
The 1-0 pitch. Did you have a lucky cap or a lucky jersey or lucky socks when you played?
Not really.
No.
Not real superstitious.
Some guys are. That thing's beat up pretty good for the first week.
That's not for. He didn't get that on opening day.
Maybe 2007. That's down low. 3-0.
This is where the Rangers had difficulty last year. We talked about the fact that they led the majors in runs scored last year with 901. They also had the highest earned run average in the majors as well. And they committed a lot of errors.
There's another walk. Bring in another run.
So as good as they played the first 3 games at home against Cleveland, they're not playing a good game today.
Well, the Tigers have just put up their 10th run in this game.
And there's no defense whatsoever against the base on balls.
Now Roop will have to deal with Maglio Ordonez. Single and a walk to his credit here today. Hits it on the ground and through. Base hit. Everett scores. Here comes Granderson rounding third. He'll score. And the rout continues. The Tigers get 2 more runs. 12-1. Maglio wasted no time.
Well, Maglio knew Roop was going to be trying to throw the ball right down the middle of the plate because he had just walked Polanco on 4 straight pitches. Therefore, very aggressive, getting the fastball and lacing it right through the diamond.
"11 Tigers hits. Ordonez has his 2nd and 3rd RBIs of the year. And Cabrera will take his swings again. Ball 1. It's been quite a turnaround from last year at this time. First 6 games, 2 for 20. First 5 games this year, 10 for 17. And he has not struck out yet this year. One ball, 1 strike. This is the 9th man to bat in the inning for the Tigers. And it was an inning that started with the first 2 men retired. 2 on, nobody on. Then the hit batter. And the floodgates open. 4-run 7th.
Tigers have had a couple of innings in this game today where they put up a crooked number. 5 spot back in the 4th.
It's good to see. The 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Roop has spent time in Texas with the big club for parts of the last 3 years. 46 appearances last year was a career high for the right-hander out of Virginia Beach. Two-2 pitch. Now the ground foul right behind Gene Lamont. Well, the Rangers gave up 14 in their first 3 games. That series in Cleveland. Today alone they've given up 12.
That tells the story.
They gave up 8 runs yesterday, 12 today. That's 20 runs in 2 days. Fouled back out of play. 2-2. Tigers have scored in every inning today except the 1st and the 6th. It's a messy score sheet day, but in a good way. Again, the 2-2. Look out. Down he goes. The off-speed pitch came fluttering in, and Cabrera took a dive. The crowd doesn't like it. Whoa. Big fella hits the deck.
Cabby make a good actor.
Yeah, he sure would. 3-2 pitch with the runners going, and it's drilled in the air, deep into left, way back. This ball is off the top of the wall. 2 more runs will score, and Cabrera's big day just got bigger.
He is unbelievably talented. And you can see why a lot of people think this guy is the best right-handed hitter in the game. 3-2 fastball right down the middle. He climbed the ladder a little bit, pulled his hands inside, and missed by inches of hitting his 4th home run of the year. That ball right off the top of the gate.
6 RBI day for Miguel Cabrera. 14-1 Tigers. Way high to Guillen. It's the 3rd time in the career of Cabrera that he's had a 6 RBI day. That's his career high. Guillen started the inning by lining out to right field. His 2nd at bat in this inning alone. Well, they're having trouble throwing strikes now. It's 2-0. Guillen right now is the only Tiger without a hit, but he does have that sacrifice fly that drove in a run. And Roop struggling to get out of the 7th inning, which has turned into a nightmarish inning for the Rangers. 6 more in for the Tigers in this frame. Slap back out of play, 2-1. Now, we talked about the Tigers' slow start a lot last year, Rod. Through their first 5 games last year, they had scored 13 runs through 5 games. This year, they're up to 30 already.
You know, they worked on a couple of different things in spring training as far as their approach is concerned, the way they take batting practice, their attention to detail. And Lloyd McClendon will sit right behind the batting cage, and he'll force each guy into bunting a couple of times, hitting the ball the opposite way, getting a guy over to 3rd, getting him in with less than 2 outs. Even guys like Cabrera, they're really concentrating on fundamentals and that type of approach, which will help them during the course of a game.
Here's the 3-1, 3-2. Well, this type of explosiveness is what many thought this ball club was going to have on a nightly basis starting last year. And Jim Leyland warned people that this is not a team that's going to score 13 runs every night. No team can do that.
It's hard to outslug people at the major league level on a nightly basis. You just really can't do it.
3-2 pitch is inside. There's another walk. That's 5 walks in this inning for Texas pitching, and Maddox is wearing out a path to the mound right now. Rangers are struggling just to get an out. Looks like we'll get a pinch runner now for Ian at first base. There's Anderson, Josh Anderson, the young man picked up from the Atlanta Braves. Take the rest of the day off, Carlos. Here's Larish. Jeff homered back in the 5th. 2 hits today. Ball 1. Well, this really has had a snowballing effect now for Root.
You know what's impressive about this, though? The Tigers have a huge lead, obviously, in this game, but each guy continues to go to the plate with a tremendous concentration level, not giving away at bats.
Kinsler has to spin to get that one to retire the side. Big inning for the Tigers. They score 6 to really blow it open. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Back to 2005 opening day, April 5th. Remember the day the DY hit 3? There's 1. There's 2. And Young would go on to hit another 3 home runs on opening day.
The weather was spectacular that day.
Boy, wasn't it?
You see all the short sleeves in the stands by the fans? Players in short sleeves.
And the curtain call for Dimitri Young. Meat hook. Ryan Perry is the new pitcher now for Detroit.
Yeah, the hard-throwing Ryan Perry, #1 draft choice of just 1 year ago by the Detroit Tigers, made his debut in Toronto a couple of days ago and looked very good in the 1 inning that he pitched.
And after that inning, you made a comment that I thought was pretty interesting. You said it looked like he has the demeanor to be a closer type. He, as Anderson is out there in left field, he just has that look about him.
He does. I mean, I've talked to him on several occasions, and you never know when you bring a guy into a situation where the bases are loaded or a pressured situation. There wasn't a pressured situation when he came in that night, but this kid appears to be one that's going to pitch at the back end of the Tigers bullpen for a long, long time.
Elvis Andrus is the first man he faces here. It's fouled back out of play. 97 with that fastball.
I know Brian Reed, who scouts out in Arizona, is beaming from ear to ear. And he was the one that was able to pick Ryan in the first round last year.
Well, I don't think the plan was to have him up with the big club at this point, but sometimes plans don't work out the way you want them to.
Well, he outcompeted everybody else in spring training. Of course, Amaya has the injury, and Ryan was better than everybody else. It made no sense for them not to put him on the ball club.
Two and two on Elvis Andrus. Got it. Dusted him with that fastball up and around the letters. It's 9 strikeouts for Tigers pitching today, the first for Ryan. And now Perry will face Ian Kinsler. Top of the order. He's 0 for 3, Kinsler. Galaraga goes 7 outstanding innings. Gave up a run on a bloop hit back in the 6th. Surrendered 5 hits. Perry missing outside, 98. Kinsler, even with his 0 for 3, still off to a good start. He came in at 500. 7 for 14 coming in.
Well, we told you earlier that Kinsler, before that sports hernia in August last year, which landed him on the disabled list, was performing very well for Texas. Good fastball hitter. We'll see if he hits this one.
Missed the strike zone, 3-0. And there is ball 4, so it's a 1-out base on balls. Well, it's time for Stanley Cup playoff hockey, and here we grow again. You can grow along for the ride. Just go to DetroitRedWings.com, call 1-800-745-3000. You can do that. Go online, get your Red Wings playoff tickets, Stanley Cup playoffs. The beard is back. Hey, there's Chelly. Hanging out with Kid Rock.
Hanging out in that suite.
Chili's a good place, good spot too.
Yes, it is.
It was packed this morning.
Yes, it is a good spot.
Swing and a miss. Michael Young, the hitter.
Michael Young went up there looking for a first pitch fastball, and Ryan threw him that breaking ball. You don't see him take many swings like that.
We talk about the fact that Young is playing a new position at third base this year, Ron. A lot of times, when a guy's playing a new position or is not having a good year defensively, it will affect the offense, but you probably don't expect it to happen to this guy. He's too good of a hitter.
This guy gets 200 hits a year.
The 1-1.
He wasn't happy about the move early. And he told Ron Washington and John Daniels, the general manager, he really didn't want to go to third base. He felt like Andrus hadn't really proved anything yet, but Ron Washington tried to convince him that we're a much better team with you at third base and me allowing this young man to come up and play shortstop. We will be a much better defensive team, which we need to be. And it took Young about a week or so to vent and talked about getting traded, and finally came back and said, you know what, I'll be a team player. I'll play third base.
Probably thought about it a little bit. What's good for the team is always good for the individual player as well. The 2-2 is hit in the air to right field. Maglio cruising over. 2 gone. Kinsler goes back. So Perry now will face Josh Hamilton, and this is going to be a heavy-duty matchup here. You've got a great power hitter in Hamilton. You've got a great power pitcher in the youngster Perry. An individual matchup here, which should be interesting. Hamilton 1 for 2 plus a walk. Ball 1 to Hamilton. Tigers pitching has kept the Rangers offense to just 5 hits today. That's fouled back. They say Josh Hamilton unleashed a new weapon this spring, something new called the bunt. And he says that don't be surprised every now and then this year if you see me drop one down.
Go for
it. Please bunt. With all the damage this guy does offensively.
I'm sure that's what the opposing pitchers and infielders they will be telling him to do. If you want to go ahead and bunt, buddy.
Well, he said, you know, I'll only do it obviously if you know, they're playing me back and we need a base hit to get something started. He said the last time I bunted was in the minor leagues and they fined me $50. The 2-1 pitch. That's toward left field, foul, back out of play. 2-2 on Hamilton. A couple of big innings for the Tigers today, a 5-run fourth and a 6-run seventh. All Detroit today on opening day here in the Motor City. That's up high. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Time called on 3-2. Hamilton stepped out at the last second. Kinsler was on the run, so he'll go back. And he lost him. Ball 4. So Hamilton gets the walk. Second one in the inning now for Perry. And here comes the skipper, Jim Leyland. Eddie Bonine was warming up in the bullpen. And that's going to be it for Perry. So he'll give up the baseball after a couple of walks here in the 8th. We'll step aside with the Tigers still ahead 14-1. Is jamming to the tunes here at the ballpark. Hey, Paws has thumbs. How about that? I didn't know that.
Paws got some rhythm too.
And after the game, don't forget Tigers Live coming up. Mickey York getting ready at the Fox Sports Detroit Brush Fire Grill. That's their new location for pre and post game this year. And then Mick showed off his guns, getting ready for the post game. So be sure to stick around after our telecast is done. And Eddie Bonine is on now for Detroit.
Eddie Bonine had a sensational spring training. He was a non-roster invitee and basically pitched his way onto the staff. That's how good he was in spring.
He will face Hank Blaylock here with 2 men on for Texas. A couple of walks, and that was it for Ryan Perry, so he was taken out of the game. Bonine looking for the final out. Blaylock has an RBI single that came back in the 6th. Tigers have out hit Texas today 12-5. They've made really good use of those 12 hits. There's a strike on the outer edge, 1-1. Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. A much different look to that Tigers bullpen coming out of spring camp this year with the injury to Zamaya. Bonine made the teams Rod was talking about, and Perry is on the team, and Cone.
Nate Robertson gone from a starter to the bullpen.
That's a big change as well. That is lined and caught by the first baseman Cabrera. So the side retired. Nothing doing for the Texas Rangers. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th. 14-1 Tigers. Back here at Comerica Park, a swing and a drive by Gerald Laird to the gap in left center field. That ball gets down, goes to the wall, and Laird is going to round the bag at second. He's coming to third, and he has a triple. Gerald Laird showing some speed. He never broke stride.
Well, you talked about it a couple of days ago, and the fact that he has some surprising speed for a catcher. And we know Comerica Park produces a lot of triples. And by the time Hamilton gets out there and gets the ball to Andrus, Laird has already made up his mind he's going to go for 3.
That is the 6th career triple for Gerald Laird. Brandon Inge batting now. 13 Tigers hits as they continue to pound Texas pitching here this afternoon.
As I said last half inning, I'm impressed with the way the Tigers continue to grind out these at-bats here late in this game with the game out of hand.
That's a good point.
I mean, so many times you get a big lead or you're losing by a lot of runs, you just kind of mail it in. But they're not mailing it in here this afternoon. Guys are continuing to grind out at-bats. All the base on balls they had last half inning, they could have been swinging at some of those pitches.
Inge has scored a couple of times. He has walked, he has singled. Breaking ball stays a little bit outside, and the count on Inge 2-2. Checked it. Ooh, it looked like home plate umpire Paul Emmel wanted to call a strike. He didn't. Gary Darling said he didn't go.
All Roop has thrown Brandon is breaking ball after breaking ball. But if you're Brandon, you can't look for that pitch. You got to still sit on your fastball. And if he decides to throw you another breaking ball, to the ground ball somewhere, get yourself an RBI.
And Brandon has the base on balls. Rangers pitching is picking up where they left off in the 7th inning. That'll bring up Adam Everett.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Mike Maddox is here. The Rangers struggled as a pitching staff last year. And of course, he was in Milwaukee last season with Ben Sheets and CC Sabathia.
It's popped up. Back to the seats it goes, out of play.
Those two guys will make a lot of pitching coaches look good.
Boy, will they. Especially the way CC pitched down the stretch last year.
Lights out.
I mean, when you pitch half a season for a team in another league and get some Cy Young consideration, it's a pretty good indication you had a pretty good year.
Last 3 or 4 starts were on 3 days rest.
Here's the 0-1. Everett hits it on the ground to third behind the bag. This will get a run in. And they'll get the force at second base. RBI for Adam Everett, his first of the year. Score Laird. And the Tigers make it 15-1. Sweet. Nice Tiger coat.
Oh my goodness.
Rod, we got to work on getting you one of those.
No way, not that.
Come on, I'll pay you.
I'll wear a lot of, okay, how much?
I try to do that, perk your ears.
It's not only a jacket, it's the whole suit, partner.
Oh, it is.
It's the whole suit.
That's in the air to right field. Cruz is there.
Can't tell him he ain't clean either.
Nope, you can't.
Cleaner than the Board of Health.
Well, apparently he's got some fans because there's some photos being taken. Now, where do you buy a suit like that?
You got to get that thing made.
Custom?
Exactly.
Here's Polanco. Blasito walked with the bases loaded in the 7th, scored a run. He has also scored 3 times in this game, really up and down the lineup. The Tigers' average is getting healthy today. Two balls, no strikes on Polanco. That's hit on the ground slowly toward third. Going to be a tough play and no play. It's a base hit. Polanco busting it down the line. Has another hit this afternoon. His second. This one of the infield variety.
And Polanco smelled that one. Take it, Polly. As soon as that ball went down, he was off and flying. One of your tougher plays for a third baseman. And we've told you that Young has just made the transition from shortstop to third base.
Maglio singled in 2 in the 7th. Ordonez 2 hits this afternoon. Maglio on the season now has driven in 3. He was part of that big 6-run 7th inning. Another ground ball back up the middle, scooped up by Andrus. Nice play for the force at second, and that is that for the Tigers. They get another run. It's literally all Tigers today. It is indeed here at Comerica Park on a great day for baseball. A great result so far. 15-1 the Tigers lead as we go to the 9th inning, and the last call now for the Texas Rangers. Eddie Bonine delivers at home, and Nelson Cruz puts a charge into this one. Way back and way gone. It's out of there, a home run. Second run of the game at a souvenir for that fella.
And Nelson Cruz is going to hit a lot of those this year.
(15-2) ball game. Third home run this season now for Cruz. So Bonine, who came on in the 8th to get the final out, surrenders the home run ball, and here is Marlon Byrd. Ground ball to the shortstop. Everett gobbles this one up. One away. 2 more outs to go.
Well, pretty nice opening day here, partner, for the Tigers and Tigers fans.
Great opening day here, Rod. I mean, it's always nice to come here regardless of the result, but when you have your team come out and put up 15 runs, Cabrera hits a grand slam, Galaraga pitches a great game, just makes for a beautiful day. There's strike one.
Driving to the park today, everybody decked out in Tigers gear. They love their Tigers.
There's a ground ball hit to the second baseman Polanco, and there are 2 gone. He's been around a lot of opening days as a player, as a broadcaster, as a fan. Opening day in Detroit's different.
It's different. I mean, this is my 7th here as an announcer. I had one as a player back in '84, and I talked about how special that was. Obviously, that team in '84 was a tremendous team, but Jack Morris had thrown that no-hitter before the Tigers came home that year, and Tiger Stadium was just rocking that day.
And Comerica Park is rocking right now. They're on their feet, a sellout crowd looking for the final out of this ball game as Jared Saltalamacchia hits. 44,588. The opening day attendance here today. Third largest crowd in the history of this ballpark. For an opening day that has been spectacular. 2-0 pitch is down low. 3 balls, no strikes. There's a strike call. 3-1. Slowly to the first baseman, Cabrera, and the Tigers win on opening day. What an impressive display by the offense, by the pitching staff, and a great show for these fans. Jim Leyland has to feel good about his ball club's effort today.
You know, when you get home after a very tough trip in Toronto, you really don't know what to expect playing a day game. But the Tigers came out and played with a sense of urgency today and rewarded some of the best fans in the country.
And they did so with a 15-2 victory.